this topic we are going to discuss about the list in Python, and we will discuss that how we are going to declare a list and how we initialize the list with the values. So let's start. First thing, the topics that we are going to discuss: what is list, how we declare a list, how we initialize a list, and different methods of initializing the list. First thing, what is list? If we want to discuss about what is list, it is a collection of values or an ordered sequence of values. You know about the list, we have already discussed in a introduction video of sequence, and the values in a list can be modified, mutable, and the element of the list are enclosed inside the square brackets, and all our values have been separated by the comma sign. So I'm going to show you the syntax also. The syntax is like list name equals to value 1, value 2, value 3, like this, and two brackets are there. This is an example, nolist 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and how we are going to find out that this is a list, because there are two bracket, square bracket sign are going to be give us information that this is a list. So now next thing is how we create a list. The first is that how we are going to create a list. To create a list, first method is that how we create a empty list. List 1 is a name equal to sign, then two brackets, two square bracket without any value. It means it's an empty list and can be used afterward also. We will discuss this empty list afterward in an example. Second is initialize the list with the sorted numbers. Means we are numbers we are going to store 10, 20, 30, 40, like this, and all the being separated by the comma sign, and two brackets are there. So this shows that it's a list, and list 2 is a name of a list. Next, if you want to store the words or a string, same as we have used the list 2, now the variable name is list 3, and again the bracket sign, and all the string or words are in a double quotes or in a single quote and separated by comma sign. This means these are the string, and you know where it is in an index value. This is going to be 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. You already know that. Now when we move to the next part, how to create and initialize a list. Next one, that how we store a character. We can store the characters also. We have discussed that thing in a string also. There we have stored the string, and all the characters are being accessible by the index value. Here also we can store the characters, and each character being stored in a separate index value. Means A, then comma E, then I, O, U. Vowels are stored in a list 4. Same way, if I want to store the mixed information, so here it is the mixed information is going to be stored in a list like this, double quotes, couple, comma, 13 is a number, then again it's a string, and again there is a number. That means it's a mixed information, and that also being stored in the list number 4. Now we have stored the information. The thing is that how we are going to display the information. So we move to the second part now, that how to display the list. So same example that we have discussed, we are going to display that also. If we are going to display, if we have declare a list that is list 2, and the 10, 30, 40, 50, if we write print list 2, the name of the list, it automatically, when we execute, it will display us a whole list with the bracket sign that shows that this is a list, that these are the values are going to be shown. Same way, if you want to display the strings or words which are stored inside the list, it will show us in the way that output has been shown on the screen, and here it is, and this is the method that has been used to display the list. Means single quotes, mango, apple, grapes, oranges, and the bracket sign is going to be denoted that this is a list. Now let us understand the concept with the help of the example practically. So here is the program. I'm using list 1 equals to bracket sign, and in bracket I put the values 10, 20, 30, 40. Even I can, if I want to put more values, I can put 50, 6, 8, 9, like this. Now this is the list. How we find out that this is a list? Because there are two bracket sign we are using, that means it makes a list. When I execute this line, list 1, it will show me, here is it, show me the output like this, and this is the method that how the list is going to be displayed. Now if we move to the next example, I'm going to show you the next example. Here is the next example. I have strings, and put mango, apple, grapes, oranges. Even if you want to put some other values also, you can put the comma sign and put the values here. And I'm using that variable name, that is a list2, and here is the print. In print I'm using list2. If I'm going to execute this line, it will show me that mango, apple, grapes in the same way as the numbers have been shown. Here it is. This is the way the mango, apple, grapes and oranges are going to be displayed. If I move to the next example again, I take another example. If I want to display the characters, here it is. I put a single characters inside the list 3, A, R, R, O, W, and all in a single quotes. It means it's a list. Even if I'm going to store the character also, it's a list. Why these bracket sign are going to denote that this is a list, and I'm going to execute this line. It will show me the same way as mango, grapes, and the 10, 20 is going to be there. This is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, means the index value. We will discuss that also, that how they are going to be stored inside the list. And if I want to store the mixed values like this, here it is. If you go through that, I put a one string, one integer number, again string, one integer. That means number. That means it's a mixed string. And if I'm going to execute this list 4 also, it will give me the same way the output is going to be there. And mango 50, grapes 40 is going to be, means index 0 mango is stored, then in 1, then 2, then 3. That you already know that. So this is the method that you are going to follow when you are going to execute the list by using the list name. We will discuss about the indexing also and slicing also in this afterwards, that how we will display the separate values from the list. Now we will discuss another method of how we declare a list using list constructor that provided by the Python. So how we are going to use it? Let us discuss. Here is the syntax. List name equals to list bracket and sequence, means whatever numbers, word, character, mixed values are going to be stored inside these two brackets, and list is going to written before that. Here it is. If you want to store characters, we have already discussed that in a simple list. Single quotes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a single quotes, and before that you have to write down the list and then the double quotes or single computer. It will convert that to a list automatically by using this list constructor. Same way, if you want to store single characters, again in this case you have to put single quotes. If you separate characters, in that case you have to put two bracket sign, list bracket, again bracket, then single quotes A comma E I O U, means you can use this method or above method, both are same. You can use any method. In both the cases it will convert that to a list, and each character is in a separate index value. You can access with the separate index value, means it going to store in a separate box, and both the cases are same. Now we move to the next one. If you want to store the number, same way as we store the characters, but in that case single quotes. Here you have to write down 10, 20, 30, 40 in two brackets, and before that you have to put again the name, same thing, list, the name of the constructor, and then it will transfer that to a variable list, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Same way, if you want to store the mixed information, in that case also you have to use the same thing, list brackets couple 13, this is a string, again this is a value, means this method you have to follow and you have to use list. I'm going to show you practically also that how it is going to work. Here it is. I'm using the previous method, that is to create a list, means you can, it is not compulsory that you have to use the list constructor, but I'm telling you that this is also thing in the case of the exam that might be there. So you should know that there is a constructor named list, 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 and then you put the bracket and remove this and the last sign also and put the bracket. I'm going to show you the error also. So when I execute this line, what happened, it will show me the error. That means what is missing, the two brackets are missing, means one more bracket is needed from both the side. Now I'm going to execute this line, it will give me the answer, and list is created. Here it is, the list is created. Same way, if I'm erase this line, I'm going to use another one, this is a list, means you can use a simple method, but again if I need that, I write down list, 2 brackets, and at the last also write down by erasing that 2 brackets. So when I execute this line, it will again going to give me same, means list is created. Same way, if I'm going to use this line arrow, I've already shown you in the case of computers, list bracket, again bracket, and from this side also bracket, again bracket. I'm going to show you. Here it is, arrow. And what is another case that you write down in a single arrow and single bracket, and when you execute this line, arrow, means both the case are same. You can use the single quotes ARR like that also, and you can write down in a single quotes full word, and it will slice it and put them in a separate blocks with the index value is going to start from the, you already know, 0 1 2 3 4. Now we discuss how user enter the values in a list at runtime. Means if I need to enter the numbers using input, means through keyboard, how we enter the numbers in a list. We know that how to enter, accept the values. We know input and enter the value, and we can store the value or a string in a variable. But in a case of list, how we are going to enter that? So if we move to the next part, we are using the input. You already know that. If you want to enter 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like these are the values that we want to enter through the keyboard and want to enter inside the variable list. This is a line, no equals to list input, enter the number, print no. Let's enter the number first, then I'm going to show you that what is the problem is going to happen. If I write down no list equals to input bracket enter number, one more bracket, and before that input I write down list and put the bracket sign. Then what is the next line? Print no list. Now if I'm going to execute this line, here it is. It will ask me the numbers. I need to enter the numbers. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It create the list. Numbers are also stored, but you will find out there is the answer is there is some difference in the answer. What is that? They are in a single quotes. That means these numbers are stored in a single quotes. We move to the presentation. Here it is the answer. That means everything has been shown in the single quotes. Why this thing happen? If you go through the input is being used to accept the value, and every time the value is being accepted is in the case of the string. If we need a integer value or a numbers, we have to put something before the input. So there are two things, one is eval and one is going to be int, that converted the string value to a integer. So in this case we need to convert these numbers which are stored in a list in an integer form. So how it is going to happen? How we remove that quotes and we're going to change that. For that we have to use this function, that is eval. This method is used to identify the data type and evaluate them automatically. It evaluate it automatically. Means we have to put eval before that input, and it will convert all those values which we enter with the use of input, that is in a string form, is going to be automatically converted to a number format, and they're going to store like this. So I'm going to show you that how it is going to happen. This is the list, and before that list, if I'm going to write down eval like this and execute this line, Now I'm going to write down 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. What is that? That is a problem. What is that problem? There is an argument that going to show you as a problem. What we have done, we have used the input, but it shows that you are not supposed to write down the list. Means if you are using the eval, you are not supposed to write down list. It will automatically convert that. But is it going to happen? So we're going to check that is this going to happen or not. So I remove this list using the input. One sign more is going to be removed. Now if I'm going to execute this line again, it will ask me the numbers again. So I put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. No, it will not happen. But if I go through the presentation, it shows that yes. But if you go through the presentation, there is something is written. That means if you want to enter the number and you want that this NO is going to be converted to a list, you have to put the sign. These are the sign that you have to use, and it will automatically convert that. Means if I'm going to execute this line again, and now I put the numbers in a bracket, square brackets, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, like this. Again it will create one block only. A list is created, but only in the index value 0. That means 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is one single value in a list, and is stored at the 0. How I'm going to separate that? To separate those lines, those numbers, you have to put the bracket 1 2 3 4 5 and close it. And when you enter that, now it is being created. That means if you are using eval input and you want to create a list, automatically this is a line that you're going to use, and when you enter, you have to put the two bracket sign, and then you put the comma, and then only the value is going to be stored. So now you know that if you want to create a list using input, eval is going to be written, and when you input, you have to put these two bracket sign. But there will one thing come in your mind, that if we are not supposed to put these two bracket sign, square bracket, and write down 1 2 3 4 like this, then what happen? So I'm going to show you that also. If this is a list, in our first case, if I need to create a list, so I put 1 2 3 4 and 5 and close it. So when I enter that, it will create a list. Now if I enter the same thing again, same numbers without those square bracket, 1 2 3 4 5, what is this? These are curve sign. These are the brackets that are curve brackets. You know what is this? If you move to the presentation, if we put without those bracket sign, we put the value with the comma, it will create tuple. And we have know that two bracket sign means automatically to convert that. This is a list, this is a tuple. Now one more thing comes in your mind, that if I am using eval input, enter the number, I don't want to put these bracket sign, but I want it should not create the tuple. It automatically convert that to a list. Means if I am not going to put these two bracket sign, I put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 like this. When I press the enter key, it is not going to convert that to a tuple. It automatically convert that to a list. That can also be done. And how it is going to be, I'm going to show you practically. This is the line. If I'm going to enter this, 1 2 3, now it is converted and it is being tuple is created. Now you want that it should be automatically, if I enter 1 2 3, convert to a list. So what you're going to do, you before that eval, this eval that you are using, write down list, and then you put the bracket sign at the start and the last also. Now when you accept the values 1 2 3 4 5 and press enter, done. It will convert that to a list. Means your problem is solved. You don't need to put those two bracket sign and then you put the enter the number. You write down the numbers in the same way, 1 2 3, and it automatically done. I'm going to show you that again. If you enter 10 20 30 40, convert it to a list.